week until the series is over, and that's in about 3-4 weeks. Governor Jesse Ventura is giving us 30 minutes to talk about the TV show, but he's in a very good mood today because they're deposing Kyle, the Navy SEAL, the fellow Navy SEAL that said those things about Jesse that Jesse says are completely untrue. And, well, the guy has no witnesses, it turns out, and they're deposing him right now. But we'll see how much Jesse can tell us just as an update on that. Because, folks, if they can destroy Jesse Ventura and say he loves Navy SEALs dying, which we know is asinine, they can come out and say that Alex Jones says he likes to murder children. You know, somebody else could say that and destroy my character. So, you know, I really look forward to justice being served. But that's not why he joins us today. We have discovered that the show Conspiracy Theory, for those that don't know, just to give you some background, going back 2.5 years ago, first aired on, Wednesdays, got highest ratings ever for a new show, was the #2 show on True TV, huge hit. And then they moved the next series to Friday night, The Dead Zone. Still got great ratings. Then they wouldn't re-air the FEMA special and got all sorts of Homeland Security threats. That's been national news. Erased it off people's TiVos, unprecedented, off their DVRs. Then they shot last year, because I was part of some of the episodes, shot it, held it for 11 months, re-edited it, took it away, re-edited it. Didn't show Ventura shooting the gun and all this really cool stuff. I mean, I could tell. Well, side issue. The point is that they took the show away, but still very powerful. One guy they interviewed about directed energy weapons dies a day and a half after Ventura talks to him. I mean, incredible stuff. Now they're not airing the TSA 8th episode. Now that's been axed. Now they move it from 9 to 10, then they move it to Monday night, and now they won't say where it's going to air. So it's kind of a treasure hunt here, and I'm going to stop ranting here. Former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura, best-selling author, joins us here. Sir, wow, what is going on with the TV show?
Well, Alex, I can't say it any better than what you just said right there. I don't know. We had a Wednesday slot at 9 Central, 10 Eastern, and then after 1 week they moved it to 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern, and this Monday I happened to be watching Monday Night Football, and I kind of hit the guide thing, and I saw True TV, 10 p.m. Conspiracy Theory, and I assumed that they were showing reruns, because I know on Thanksgiving morning they showed some reruns of Conspiracy Theory when I was getting ready to go to my in-laws for Thanksgiving dinner. I had it on and watched a couple shows from a couple years ago. And The Manchurian Candidate was one of the shows that we did a couple years ago. And so Monday, I'm channel surfing during Monday Night Football, and I see Conspiracy Theory, True TV. I assumed it was reruns. Well, it was not. It was the Ozark episode, the one where we discover this underground city down in the Ozarks, and that this town is being infiltrated with massive amount of banks. They now have one bank for every, I think, 52 people that live in the town. I mean, it's just bizarre.
It's usually one for every...
One bank in the whole town.
Yeah.
It aired Monday night, and now tonight I see they got Pawn Shop on or whatever it is all night long. So I have no idea when the show is going to air from week to week, and it's clear that they're doing everything they can to make the show a failure so that they don't have to renew it.
Undoubtedly, that is what is going on. They're scared of it. It's having an effect. They waited till the day after the election to air the first episode of the new season. It got really good ratings, so they move it. It gets good ratings again. You can go look them up online, so they move it again. I mean, this is incredible, Governor.
I've never seen anything like it in the entertainment industry. You know, I've never seen... Oh, yeah, no, I will say, one time I saw something like it when they hired me at MSNBC. And at the time, Phil Donahue was on with his short-lived show. He had the highest ratings on MSNBC, and they dropped him, and they wouldn't put me on the air because both of us were opposed to the Iraq War. And so they didn't want anyone out there with any opposition to the Iraq War. And speaking of that, Alex, I'd like to make this point for a moment. You know, they're calling for an investigation of this stuff in Libya, right? The Republicans are yelling and screaming. They want a full investigation of what happened at the Libyan embassy, and that people aren't telling the truth, correct?
Yes.
How come these same elected officials were not called calling for a complete investigation on the Trump up to the Iraq war.
The WMDs.
Where they totally lied to us about the WMDs. They totally lied to us. Iraq had virtually no ties to Al-Qaeda, which they told us that they did. And all of this hogwash. You didn't hear one of these elected officials out in Washington demanding an investigation. Thank goodness there was a black woman congressman, I caught her yesterday, who brought that very point up. She said, where were all these people when we got trumped into the Iraq war? Where was their call for an investigation when Colin Powell went in front of the UN and completely lied? It was not by his choice. He had the firing points that the Bush administration gave him, but he still went out there and told these bogus lies about curveball and all that stuff. It was all based upon an informant that Germany had, which Germany had already discarded him as no credibility, and that's what we ended up basing the entire Iraq war on. Where were these elected spineless pukes who now want an investigation of Libya, but you won't see them touch an investigation of why we went into Iraq?
I agree with you. I want to cover some other issues with you, especially on the Manchurian Candidate, since you mentioned that in a moment, because that's actually in the news today, even in mainstream Denver papers, concerning the Batman shooting. But before we go there, back to the TV show. I understand they spend millions of dollars making these, so they want to air them. But then if they don't air them, it also becomes another issue that they're censoring. I know the head of True TV promised you 3 years ago that you wouldn't be censored, and I thought it was unprecedented. We had a private bet against the other producers, you and I and others, that it wouldn't air. I agreed with you that it would never air. It was so hardcore. But then the second season, they did censor some shows. Now they've nixed the TSA show about cancer, and now they're just hiding the show. I mean, are you going to talk to them or try to find out what's going on, or will they not talk to you?
No, I have nothing more. You know, they still haven't even paid me yet. They still owe me a paycheck.
Wow.
And I mean, this has been over a year since we completed the shows, and I'm battling with them now to give me because my contract states that I get my last check upon completion of all editing and when the show is ready to go on the air. Well, excuse me, Alex, 3 shows have aired, and I still haven't seen my last paycheck yet. So
I think it's clear to say you're not too happy with Time Warner.
Well, I don't know, you know, if it's the parent company or True TV or who's doing it. I mean, I'm sure I'll get paid. I got great lawyers, and it's a pretty ironclad contract, but I just find it very disrespectful that everybody else on the show has been paid off, but the star of the show remains.
You know, that's what I've
still remaining to get.
That's what I've noticed. It's weird that just in general life, as you get more famous, people treat you, in many cases, worse, like they think you deserve to be treated bad or something. It's bizarre. And then all these losers wonder why they're not successful because they don't even know how to treat people with respect.
Yeah, well, I find this very disrespectful that everyone on the show has been paid. My son's been paid. Sean Stone's been paid. Everybody, and they've been paid months ago. And yet I sit here now, and the 3rd show is already aired. Next week will be the 4th show, and I still won't have gotten my last check.
Amazing. It's obviously re-airing. Now, that's the real proof in the pudding if they're not re-airing it. Guys, check the True TV schedule to see when the Ozarks Conspiracy is re-airing. Just go to the conspiracy theory site, just type in conspiracy theory, and it comes up. And we'll find out when that's airing. We'll talk about it in the next segment. But talk about the Ozarks Conspiracy, because that was one of the shows I was most excited about. They're building giant underground bunkers, you know, 50,000 square foot.
This guy that's got the surveillance, the satellite surveillance, is building this house. It's supposedly a single-family dwelling, so he didn't have to pull any permits or anything. I mean, if you added a bathroom to your house, you'd have to go get permits from the city. You know, if you built an addition onto your house.
And tell them how big it is.
This guy built a house, I think it's 72 or 74,000 square feet, and they're calling it a single-family dwelling.
And it's got giant, thick, armored concrete walls. Look, and the guy's formerly with the NSA. That's why they don't want that show being seen. Listen, I've discovered an NSA base in my neighborhood. Talked to the homeowners association. I'm not in the homeowners association, but talked to one down the street. And they go, yeah, no, it's national security. They're in a group of houses as a cover. And I've yet to go over there, but that's what they do, Jesse.
Well, it might be, like I said, and this thing's built on top of a hill, and there's tremendous amount of caves down there in the Ozarks. In the show, we actually infiltrate and drive for literally city blocks under the ground. And, I mean, they had tennis courts, they had everything there, and then they did editing where the final edit, they didn't show the tennis courts. I found that interesting, that they really cut away from showing a great deal of what we saw underground to this underground city. They kind of slid over the top on it with their final editing. They showed us more in the car driving around in the underground city than they actually showed of the city itself.
No, I can see that because I saw the footage of you, firing the machine guns in the David Icke episode. And, I mean, this is the most awesome footage ever. And, I mean, I just know how TV works, and I can see what's going on. And I'm not pleased by what Time Warner's up to. I mean, obviously there's some shenanigans going on.
Well, look at it this way. We still managed to get them on.
No, that's a big deal.
Yeah, no matter how they edit them and how they're trying to destroy the ratings and putting them on all different nights so nobody knows when they're actually going to air. It's still remarkable that they got on, and I'm proud that I won that Stony Award, the Lifetime Achievement Award. They gave it to me. They said conspiracy theory, just managing to get this on the air, deserves a Lifetime Achievement Award.
That's right. That's right. In fact, congratulations, Governor Ventura. I feel good just being involved in it. And the whole crew, the production crew, were awesome folks. Everybody involved there.
As we saw in Katrina, and as we are watching now in New York and New Jersey, the federal government can't and won't help you in a crisis. FEMA ran out of water and MREs in days. Electricity is still off to over 1 million people. The Red Cross, who is quick to beg for money, is now slow to react. Don't put it off any longer. Get prepared today. The InfoWars shop is the largest distributor of ProPure water filter systems. And now, get 15% off your ProPure order with the promo code WATER15. While you're on InfoWarsShop.com, check out these other great preparedness items. The Aquapod kit lets you store up to 65 gallons of water in your bathtub. The Pocket Socket provides you with manual electricity for small electronics like your cell phone. The Life Straw is great for your bug-out bag. And check out our complete line of Interfood products for great tasting and nutritionally dense foods that have a great shelf life. If you are looking to secure your home in a crisis, you can order Strategic Relocations, the film, a great companion to the book Strategic Relocations 3rd edition, and The Secure Home by Joel Skousen. When the time to perform arrives, the time to prepare has already passed. Get prepared now, so if a crisis strikes your home, you and your family will be secure. Go to InfoWarsShop.com and don't forget the promo code WATER15